You wake up to another day, and before your feet even touch the floor, the weight of the world presses in. The bills waiting on the counter, the endless to-do list you're already behind on, that quiet ache in your chest that whispers, "Is this all there is?" Maybe you make your coffee and stare at the steam rising like prayers you don't know how to pray. Maybe you scroll your phone, comparing your hidden struggles to everyone else's highlight reel, wondering why life feels more like survival than purpose. Deep down, you sense something more, a gentle pull, a holy nudge. That moment when the job title, the clean house, even the approval of those you love, doesn't quiet the hunger inside. Have you felt that way? That maybe you were meant for something greater, but you can't quite name it? Matthew chapter 22 verse 14 says, "For many are called, but few are chosen." That's not just a verse, it's a mirror. Do you feel chosen? Not in the sense of superiority, but in that subtle, unshakable way where your life seems wired for something more. What if the struggle, the silence, the closed doors, what if they weren't detours, but direction? God's calling rarely looks neat. It looks lived. It shows up as delays, as heartbreak, as a cluttered desk of unfinished plans that heaven is quietly rearranging. Maybe your story includes a marriage that didn't go as planned, a career that collapsed just when you thought you were finally secure, friendships that faded right when you needed them most. You've asked, "Why me, Lord?" But what if your struggles weren't meant to break you, but build you? The storm didn't come to destroy you, it came to anchor you. The rejection wasn't to diminish you, but to redirect you. This message isn't about lofty theology. It's about you, the everyday chosen one, the woman at her kitchen table, eyes blurry over her Bible, the man driving home late, reliving every regret, whispering a silent prayer for clarity. You are not overlooked. You are not ordinary. You are chosen. And when God chooses, He equips. So stay with me. In the next few moments, we'll uncover biblical wisdom that turns your pain into faith in action, your storms into strength, and brings clarity to your divine purpose as a chosen one. And at the end, I'll pray with you for just 30 seconds, a prayer for alignment, so you can hear God's calling more clearly this week than ever before. Life can feel like an overflowing cup, work piling high, worries spilling over, and the quiet sense that no matter how much you pour out, it's never enough. Then suddenly, the things that once felt steady begin to shake. The career path you trusted feels empty. The friendships you leaned on start to fade. Even the hobbies that once brought you joy now feel strangely hollow. Have you noticed that? It's not random. It's an awakening. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" God's awakenings rarely come wrapped in comfort. They often come disguised as disruption. The job loss, the heartbreak, the unexpected move. These aren't detours. They're holy redirections. What feels like falling apart is actually falling into alignment. Think of Sarah, a woman from Ohio who built her life around stability. 20 years at the same job, raising her kids, faithfully serving at church. Then, her company closed without warning. Everything crumbled. She felt invisible, angry, even abandoned. But in those long, quiet mornings, with no job to rush to, she opened her Bible again, not out of habit, but hunger. What started as grief became clarity. God wasn't punishing her. He was inviting her into a new season, mentoring young women, something her job had never allowed time for. Her awakening wasn't found in success. It was hidden in surrender. Awakening isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet unraveling of everything that isn't eternal. And yes, it can feel disorienting. Others may not get it, and sometimes neither do you. But solitude has a purpose. In the quiet, God clears the noise so you can hear His voice. He begins stripping away false identities, The mask of success, the weight of others, expectations, the clutter of distractions. You're not losing yourself. You're shedding who the world told you to be so you can become who God created you to be. So let me ask, do you feel that restlessness inside? That quiet stirring where old routines no longer satisfy? That's not failure. That's God waking you up to more. Here's the truth. You're allowed to let go of what no longer fits the person God is shaping you to become. Say it with me. I am awakening to God's purpose. Let that declaration settle in. Because every awakening isn't the end of something. It's the beginning of your divine assignment. If God is awakening something in you, could it be that He's sharpening your spiritual discernment next? Let's look closer. Have you ever walked into a room and felt something shift, even before anyone spoke? Maybe a heaviness that made you uneasy, or a calm that settled your spirit without reason. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual discernment, one of the clearest signs you are chosen for a divine purpose. Hebrews chapter 5 verse 14 says, "But solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil." Discernment isn't just a hunch. It's God fine-tuning your spirit to see what others miss. You begin noticing the undercurrent. You sense motives behind words, spiritual atmospheres beneath the surface, and truth behind the mask. This gift doesn't make you paranoid. It makes you anchored. In a world flooded with noise, advertising, politics, even shallow religion, discernment becomes your compass. It's the Spirit whispering, "Not this path," or "Wait, there's something off here." It's wisdom, paired with timing. But let's be honest, it isn't always easy. Others may doubt it, and sometimes you will too, but time proves the Spirit right. Sometimes discernment calls you to act, speaking truth when silence feels safer. Other times it invites you to wait, letting God reveal what He needs to in His way. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 10 verse 16, "Be as shrewd as serpents and as innocent as doves." That's the balance discernment teaches. Let me ask you directly, have you found yourself stepping back from conversations that once entertained you, avoiding certain spaces, or sensing a quiet no in your spirit? That's not fear, that's alignment. God is shaping your senses for a higher purpose. This week, before you say yes to anything, an invitation, an opportunity, a commitment, pause and ask, does this bring peace or pressure? Then follow the answer. Not every insight is meant to be explained. Some are seeds planted to prepare you for what's ahead. So here's what you may need to hear today. You're allowed to trust what you sense, even if others don't understand. Say it with me. I will trust the Spirit's leading in my life. Because when you do, you'll find yourself steady in storms, clear when others are confused, and positioned for paths only God could open. As spiritual discernment sharpens, God's calling grows clearer, and your divine purpose refuses shallow options. Few things cut deeper than rejection. The friend who disappears without a word. The job you gave your best to, only to be passed over. The community you served, that somehow never truly saw you. Rejection makes us ask, what's wrong with me? But here's the truth. Rejection isn't always punishment. Often, it's redirection. John chapter 15 verse 18 says, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." Being chosen doesn't mean you'll be understood. It means you'll be set apart. And that set apartness often looks like closed doors, canceled plans, and people who no longer walk with you. Not because you failed, but because God is clearing your path. Let me tell you about David, a small business owner in Pennsylvania. For 2 decades, he poured himself into his company. Long hours, missed vacations, everything for stability. Then the 2008 crash hit. Clients vanished. Trusted partners withdrew. Calls stopped. Whispers rose. Shame grew. For months, he spiraled, isolated, broke, questioning his identity. Then one night, at 2 a.m., sitting in the dark with unpaid bills and a Bible he hadn't opened in weeks, he finally prayed, not for a bailout, but for direction. God, If this isn't who I am anymore, then show me who I am in you. Silence. Then a still knowing. The next day didn't bring a miracle, but it began a shift. Doors opened, not in business, but in mentorship, in church ministry, in volunteering. David found himself building again, but this time on kingdom ground. His rejection wasn't the end. It was the turning point. If this part speaks to you, pause 10 seconds right now and whisper, "Lord, redirect me where you will." Then keep listening. That's what God does for the chosen. He uses rejection to release what no longer serves your calling. He removes people who can't walk with your future. He reroutes what would have distracted you from destiny. So let me ask, what rejection are you still grieving? Can you trust that what was denied may have been divine protection? Here's the truth. You don't need their yes if you already have God's. You are free to walk away from places that never welcomed you and release the people who never recognized your worth. Say this with me: rejection is not my ending, it is God's redirection. Let that truth settle, because for the chosen, even closed doors are signs that God is moving you forward. Have you noticed that just when you start growing in faith, life seems to push back harder? You begin praying more, and then the car breaks down. You step into purpose, and suddenly tension erupts at home. That's not coincidence, it's a pattern. One of the clearest signs of being chosen is this: God's favor often attracts battles. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 17 declares, "No weapon forged against you will prevail." Notice, it doesn't say weapons won't form, it says they won't succeed. Being chosen doesn't mean the storm won't come, it means you won't sink in it. Your survival through what should have crushed you is not luck, it's proof of favor. Take Lisa, a nurse from Michigan. In her early 40s, she lost her husband unexpectedly. Overnight, the life she'd built unraveled. She was suddenly a solo mom, a full-time nurse, and a grieving widow. Some nights she cried in her car after work, whispering through tears, "God, I can't do this." The pain didn't let up, but strangely, neither did the grace. She'd find strength right when she thought she'd collapse. When bills mounted, unexpected checks arrived. When the loneliness closed in, a friend would call. One night, she opened her Bible and saw Psalm chapter 34 verse 18. "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted." She broke down, not from pain, but from the revelation. God had never left. Her battle didn't disappear, but something shifted. Lisa began leading a support group for widows in her church. Her deepest wound became her greatest ministry. Not a setback, a strength set. Her pain was the very ground where her purpose was planted. This is the paradox of divine favor. The battles don't mean you're forsaken. They mean you're entrusted. The enemy doesn't waste fire on the lukewarm. He targets the burning ones. But what he means to destroy you, God uses to refine you. So I'll ask plainly, what fight are you in right now that feels unfair, unbearable? Could it be that your endurance in this season is evidence that heaven is backing you? Here's your truth to walk in. You are allowed to be weak because God is your strength. You're not called to carry the battle, only to stand inside it, clothed in grace. Say it with me. God's favor is with me, even in the fire. Because if the fire can't burn you, it's forging you, and that's how your connection with God becomes unshakable. Nay, there's something within you that has always reached for God. Even when life tried to pull you away, you may have wandered through seasons of doubt, silence, or even rebellion, yet somehow your faith never fully died. That is not chance. That is the mark of being chosen, an unshakable connection to God that refuses to let go. John chapter 10 verse 27 says, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." Notice how personal that is. It's not about religion or ritual. It's about relationship. You hear his voice, maybe not audibly, but through the quiet nudges in your heart, the verses that leap off the page, the unexpected peace in the middle of chaos. Think of the times you should have walked away from faith, the betrayal that made you question His goodness, the unanswered prayer that tempted you to stop trying, the season of exhaustion where you felt too weak to keep showing up. And yet here you are, still seeking, still drawn to His presence, still listening for His voice. That's not your own strength. It's His grace tethering you to Himself. This connection doesn't mean you never waver. It means even in your wavering, you come back. Like an anchor in a storm, His presence holds you steady when everything else feels adrift. And because you're chosen, that bond only deepens with time. While others chase applause or possessions, your soul longs for something eternal. Have you noticed it? The way shallow conversations leave you restless, but prayer, even in silence, brings peace. The way distractions tug at you, but worship resets your soul. That's your spirit recognizing where it truly belongs. Here's the practical truth. You don't have to strive to earn God's presence. You already carry it. You're allowed to rest in Him, even when you don't have perfect words, even when all you can offer is a sigh or a tear. He hears you. And let me ask you directly, do you realize that your hunger for Him is itself a sign of His calling? People who are not chosen don't crave His presence the way you do. That longing is proof you are set apart, so declare it now. Nothing can separate me from God's love. When you live with that truth at the core, every battle, every rejection, every awakening finds its meaning. Because at the center of it all is not your strength holding on to Him. It's His hand holding on to you. That unshakable connection is both the proof and the fuel of your divine purpose. There's something about your presence that shifts the atmosphere. Even without saying a word, people sense peace around you. Strangers open up. Friends seek your wisdom. Some are drawn to you, while others seem unsettled in your company. That's not about personality. It's about the light of God shining through you. Matthew chapter 5 verse 14 says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." Being chosen means carrying that light into places that desperately need it. Your words, your actions, even your silence become vessels of God's presence. People who are weary feel strengthened near you. Those searching for answers find hope in your testimony. And even those resistant to truth feel confronted by it. Carrying God's light isn't always glamorous. It can be costly. Some will admire you, but others may reject you because your light exposes what they'd rather keep hidden. That tension can feel lonely, but it's also confirmation. You're walking in God's calling. The very fact that people respond strongly, for good or for discomfort, means the Spirit is alive in you. Think about it this way. A candle never complains about darkness. It simply shines. And in shining, it changes everything around it. You don't have to force influence. When you carry God's light, the influence flows naturally. But here's the challenge. You must guard the flame. Not everyone who is drawn to your light comes with pure motives. Some may seek to drain you rather than grow with you. Others may try to silence you, hoping your fire will dim. That's why it's vital to stay rooted in prayer, grounded in the Word, and surrounded by people who feed your spirit, not deplete it. Let me ask you, have you noticed how often people confide in you, or how others sense peace in your presence? That's not ordinary. That's divine purpose in action. God's favor has placed something within you that cannot be explained by charisma or talent alone. Here's the practical truth. You don't need a platform to shine. Your kitchen table can be a pulpit. Your workplace can be a mission field. Your quiet kindness can become someone else's turning point. Light isn't measured by scale, but by impact. So take this declaration with me. I will carry God's light wherever I go. Say it until you believe it. Because carrying His light isn't about perfection. It's about willingness. And when you walk into a room with that mindset, you don't just exist there. You transform it. That is the undeniable mark of someone chosen by God. You've walked with me through these signs: awakening, discernment, rejection, battles, connection, and light. And maybe as you listened, something inside you whispered, "That's me." That's no accident. You didn't stumble here out of curiosity. You were led because heaven wanted to remind you, you are chosen. Being chosen doesn't mean your path will be easy. It means your life carries purpose too great to waste on distractions. It means your struggles are not wasted. They're shaping you. It means rejection isn't the end. It's redirection. It means battles don't prove God's absence. They reveal His favor. And it means the hunger in your soul for Him is proof that your spirit has always been tethered to His. So let me leave you with this encouragement. Don't chase after purpose as if it's out of reach. Live today as if purpose is already within you, because it is. In the way you love your family, in the way you show kindness to strangers, in the quiet prayers whispered at night, this is your divine calling at work. If this message resonated with you, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs hope today. And if you want more encouragement like this, consider subscribing so you never miss another word of biblical wisdom that keeps your faith anchored. Now, before we close, I want to pray over you. Wherever you are, pause with me, quiet your spirit, and let these words wash over you. Heavenly Father, we come before you with open hearts, grateful that you have called us not by accident, but by name. Lord, you see the ones listening right now, their struggles, their burdens, their questions. And yet, in your mercy, you remind them that they are chosen, set apart for a divine purpose only you could design. Father, for those who feel weary, I ask for your strength. When the battles seem endless, cover them with your peace. Let them know that no weapon formed against them will prosper, and that every storm is under your command. For those who feel the sting of rejection, remind them that you are the God who opens better doors than the ones that close. Heal the wounds of abandonment and replace them with the assurance of your unwavering presence. Lord, awaken every gift within them. Sharpen their discernment. Give them courage to carry your light boldly, even when the world does not understand. Teach them to rest in you, to draw near when distractions pull, and to believe that your plan is greater than every detour and delay. Father, I declare over each chosen one that their steps are ordered, their lives are covered, and their future is held secure in your hands. Let them walk forward not in fear, but in faith. Let their homes be filled with peace, their hearts with hope, and their days with the joy of knowing they are yours. And above all, Lord, let every moment of their lives bring glory back to you. We seal this prayer in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.